Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie. So today we're going to do more of a true crime style story. We're just going to tiptoe over into it because we've talked about this topic before, but I feel like it's better to cover it as a true crime story so the YouTube gods don't strike us down, number one, and number two, because it's all somewhat over and done. So in March of 2023, Nashville, Tennessee had a school shooter. It was a trans-identifying female. I will say sometimes trans-identifying because there are several things in the recently released notebook they referred to as a manifesto. But there are multiple pages. There's like 45 images to like 80-something pages. Patch sent us a nice email that says, this wasn't really a manifesto per se. In my opinion, it's more like a journal of a highly troubled teenager in an unrequited love situation. This kid definitely had gender confusion, but there's nothing to suggest to me that it was a legitimate transsexual. It was released by the Tennesse Star. So I will say that she was sometimes trans-identifying, and I will get into that later. At some point in her 28 years, she had a friend who passed away, and that's what started her obsession with the dying thing. She also had a consistent desire to stay a kid even though she was 28. This is listed under personal work under her page. I found on the Internet Archive.
She has a website?
Oh, yeah. It's no longer up, but in the Internet Archive you can find it. So this is some of her artwork right here.
Okay. What does that say?
It's pictures of, I'm assuming, her shoes while she's wearing pajama pants that have 8 balls on them. And it says to be a kid forever and ever. And then, there was a friend that was quoted saying that she knew that she was childlike like that, but assumed that she was just going to illustrate, kids' books and stuff. And that's a fair judgment after looking at some of these. But you definitely can see that this woman had an obsession with being a child and staying a child. So she had an obsession with staying a child to the extent where she also had an obsession. She had an obsession, and this is why the gentleman that sent us this patch, he said that it was a teenage love obsession. It seemed like a teenage love obsession.
How old was she when 28. She did this shooting? She was 28 when she did this shooting. She's 28
when she's writing all this too.
So she's not just out of high school. She is a grown adult with a fully formed brain.
And I'm going to read you an excerpt referring to the childlikeness that she continues to talk about. Audrey is not my name, but when you say it, I am just as the little kid I was back then. I can be a kid again with you, alongside you, even if I can't really be with you. Aiden. Also Audrey.
Is that written to the crush?
I think that this is referring to the dead friend. Now, I want to point out, so the friend that passed, name is Sid, just for context.
Okay.
And
so a boy.
No, I think Sid like Sydney, S-Y-D.
Okay.
So she is obsessed, and you will find that the second you open this notebook. She's obsessed with this woman named Paige. Now, Paige was either black or some kind of dark complexioned American.
Yeah.
Because there's, number one, an obsession with this woman, and number two, an obsession with what Audrey describes as brown girls.
She writes that?
Yeah. One of the quotes that I wrote down before I have to search for it was, "No love, no brown girls. I am nothing. Brown love is the most beautiful kind."
You know, some brown people would say that's kind of racist.
And I will say that she had a stalker-like obsession with this woman. If I ever cry all day, it's because I need your love. Signed with her initials and her birthday, the date, which is 1/15/23, which is months before the shooting.
Yeah.
And this is covered in sketches of broken hearts, and it says, "I just want your love. If I'm sad all day, that means I need your heart. Love hurts too much, too many years. I hurt too bad. I want to die." Aiden.
Wants to die because she can't be with the person she has a crush on?
Yes. And that is made very, very clear through this. Now, it's interesting because this journal opens up saying that I'm born wrong. Why does my brain not work right? Audrey had autism, which is something that also comes up a few times in this journal. And it makes me wonder a lot of the times what would happen if she had the right support network, you know? I do wonder often through reading this if Audrey was actually trans. In any way, shape, or form, because that woman, Paige, she has very graphic fantasies of having heterosexual sex with this person, to the point where she writes out a whole paragraph, and you're going to maybe have to bleep a little bit of what I'm saying for this, but you can see the picture.
What am I looking at?
That is a butt
Yeah.
and a
That's not what a penis looks like.
That's what it's supposed to be, right? It looks like a coconut with with an attachment.
It looks like a boob with a giant nipple.
But let me read this for you because I mean she deeply fantasized about having graphic sex with this woman. Mm-hmm. Can't but sex a beautiful young brown girl with a big ass and a small asshole. If I had a penis, it'd be big and rock hard. Too bad I'm a sad boy born with a puny vagina. Everything hurts. There are more descriptive.
Can I just say that I know for a fact that she was watching porn? Like, for a fact.
Oh, almost definitely.
No girl who hasn't watched porn would be thinking like this. This is f***ed up.
Here's the thing. I know every lesbian has wanted to feel having an appendage and giving pleasure to their partner. Mm-hmm. Almost every lesbian, especially if they've ever used a attachment of any type. This woman never had sex. Described herself as a virgin fag.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus. So she was worse. You couldn't possibly get any worse than she was.
I believe she was kissed one time by a woman.
So she was like superiorly messed up.
She transitioned into an incel.
A gay guy incel.
Well, she wanted to be with women still.
But why'd she call herself a gay guy then?
She didn't call herself a gay guy.
You said she called herself a fag.
No, she's a fag because she wants to be with women, and she's stuck in a female body. So she's a fag.
But fag is gay guys, not women, not lesbians.
Refers to gays of any type. She also referred to her dad as a fag, but we'll get into that later.
Oh boy.
Now, after this, she does go in to number one, her father comes after that, which is crazy. But then she kind of tiptoes into this white nothingness. She literally has this whole page where it's titled White Nothingness. Poor people resent this shit. My parents aren't rich. They work hard for their money, so I didn't end up homeless. Yet I still feel bad. Cursed to be looked down upon. Underneath that, brain, white privilege, embarrassment to self, to me, to no one. I'm no one.
This sounds like a giant f***ing pity party. Someone needed to kidnap her, throw her on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and force her to work for months. This whole thing is about feeling bad for herself. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, you're doing it to yourself.
This is complete
self-pity?
Isolation.
On purpose.
Yes, and at the beginning, she starts discussing the internet's a dangerous place, right? She goes on to say that she doesn't have true connections online because it's all shallow connections. And so this person is festering online with shallow connections, knowing it, and then going on and having these types of writings. But this is kind of what they want white people to feel like, though.
I think it's another form of addiction or obsessiveness. Because feeling this kind of self-pity to where you're like obsessively talking about crazy shit that makes no sense, that's a narcissist.
But I think it really just shows how unstable some people are mentally and shows how much better we should be doing at finding these people. Because this was not something that was just hiding. If this is how she was talking with her friends and online, then we should have known in advance. And there's some things that people have brought up that says, oh, in 2021 I should have been caught, something like that. But I never found anything to indicate she would have been. Maybe she was just like saying some shit online.
Was she seeing a therapist?
She was. She was.
So here's a big problem.
And she said that this current therapist is the best that she's had for her autism.
A very great affirming therapist. Mm-hmm. Because therapists who affirm aren't therapists They're cheerleaders. They're not actually helping the person with the issues. They're pumping up the issues. They're increasing the issues. They're giving the issues steroids. It's not helping. Like in Spain, in different countries, if a therapist doesn't affirm the gender ideology and if they ask questions at all, not only can they lose their license, but they're required to pay a fine. So when some girl comes in with all this messed up stuff in her head, comes into a therapist office and says the trans word, everything, every issue she has is off the table. She can know, like the therapist can't ask questions. The therapist can only listen. And that's what's leading to this crazy shit. I think one aspect of it.
There's another big paragraph here called Being Me Sucks, where she complains about missing work and getting up late.
Jesus Christ. It's just the same self-pity bullshit. It seems like she felt like paralyzed by her own brain, but she's the one doing it to herself in a sense. Like I can't feel bad for that.
I don't believe transitioning would have even helped. She clearly struggled quite a bit with her sexuality, and she did come from a very Christian household. That's why she went to a Christian school at one point. And we're going to touch now, because you brought that up on the family situation. Having a father in this life is gay. No actual job, no actual responsibility. Drop dead face. With a very graphic picture of her shooting his head. She does go on to say that she wishes she'd killed her father. Didn't do that.
So why did she kill a whole bunch of kids instead of killing her father if she hates him so much?
That's probably due to her mother, and I'll explain that also with this. So, like I kind of got at, her father was a jobless man, clearly, and there was another paragraph where she was mad at him simply because he told her that life will get better. And she did say that she wanted to kill her father because he didn't have a job and wasn't providing for his family, which I think is where she has this mentality of manliness, having a job, providing, and all that, and then with her wanting to be a man.
I'm sorry.
It was Remy.
Wow, he did it last night too. Sorry, it's just bad. It was so bad I couldn't concentrate on what you were saying. I was smelling. Yeah, that's you.
So yeah, I think that's what she imagined a father to be, was a provider, and he was not one of those. We also have this passage here, and it explains to you that she's planning on doing this on the 17th, the kill. So she's telling her dead friend she can't wait to see you again at the Golden Gates, a very Christian thing to refer to because of her Christian family. Going back to the brown girls. Brown girls have the nicest skin, especially yours. Rather die to touch it, I'd die.
But if you're dead, you can't touch your skin. So what's the... I don't understand.
She has this belief that when she dies, God will let her into heaven. She even says it explicitly, I believe God will let me in despite what I'm going to do. And then she writes a letter. Like I said, she's planning at this point to do it the next day. So she writes that about Paige. And then she says, Paige, I'm going to kill people tomorrow, crossed out someday. Please don't be mad. I'm going to do something bad tomorrow, sometime. It said, even think what you might feel. I'm so sorry. I love you. Aiden. P.S. I think God will enter me in heaven. If I do get there, I'll be waiting for you.
Did she give a reason why she decided that she was just going to shoot a whole bunch of children?
No, she never explained that that's what she's going to do.
She just decided, I'm going to do this because...
I believe the reason she decided to kill a bunch of children is because of how she feels about her mother.
Okay.
Continue. Her mother, obviously a very Christian woman, had discussed the trans stuff with Audrey. And Audrey said her mother said it would be like losing her daughter, like the death of her daughter. And so Audrey said she finds that to be very selfish. Extremely selfish, actually. She said, how can you say that when people want to kill themselves or your kids are killing themselves? She doesn't believe that her death will mean anything, but wants to achieve something with her death. She says many times that death is better because she will be along with nature and that will be more positive than her life on this earth. You see something like this, which is a drawing of her literally shedding out of her skin. If God won't give me a boy body in heaven, then Jesus is a...
You know, for someone who's gay, she's pretty homophobic.
Uh-huh.
She keeps using
very
that word.
much. Very much so.
But she uses that word in like the most negative context, not jokingly or flippantly, like you're talking to your friends or whatever. It's like the worst word she's used so far to define someone she hates.
This was the most disturbing part for me to have read of the whole manifesto. She begins talking about how she was sewing pieces onto her stuffed animals because she wanted them to be boys like her.
Where'd you get the pieces?
She made them. She didn't say. I'm assuming other stuffed animals. She's telling us in detail that she was doing this. And I was under the impression that it was when she was a child.
A little kid, yeah.
No, this is her 28-year-old ass stitching a penis on a teddy bear and making it so it can have sex with her other animals. She just described that it was difficult to make actual sex happen, but she did it.
First of all, I'm surprised she has stuffed animals at 28. And then all the other stuff just makes it 10 times worse.
Now that comes after her describing her imaginary penis. Basically, it's a lot of I'd want to use their butt for sex.
What is with the...
But I will never have it because I was damned to be born this way.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold the phone. If you wanted to be a guy, you would want to have vaginal sex because it's the one thing you would want to do that you aren't able to do. Why the butt?
Because it's tight.
What the fuck?
It's the
Does
gripping.
Does she assume that the person she's going to have sex with is a slut? Like a loosey-goosey? What is wrong? Like, fucking porn, dude.
She lists cartoon porn as a problem also.
Oh, see? There you go.
There you go. One or another.
No wonder everyone's so obsessed with the rectum. I'm going to tell you, in like 10 to 15 years, a lot of people, Gen Zers, are going to have some rectal issues. Because this seems to be like prevalent.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to do it in the butt. Well, guys always want to put it in the butt.
Thank God I'm gay.
I'm just saying. And yeah, so this goes off on not necessarily the describing, but how much they don't want, like they hated being called a pig or faggot, now they don't mind it. And then it goes on to saying that she wants to transition, but she can't because of her mother. Yo, if my daughter was stitching fucking shit on teddy bears, I wouldn't want her to do anything either. I'd be like, you stay put. So she goes on to say about her mom that when she didn't mind when she was a kid and made her put her shirt back on and would say, you're a girl. But she found being a boy as a kid felt more fun. That's when she had most fun, and puberty put her in prison. She just says that she hates parental views afterwards and how she views her as a daughter and doesn't want to lose her daughter because that would be the death of Audrey. So her mother very much describes it as losing her daughter. She just say pain of losing a daughter, that's not pain, that's selfishness. Just like any of the rest of the parents with that kind of mindset, they're all full of shit. How could they ever not think of their own child suffering and that they hate their gender so bad they kill themselves? Parents like them who think of themselves first and their preferences of conservative religion gay shit makes them believe that the child they are given should stay that way.
You're 28 years old. Get a job. Move out, get your transition. I don't know why it's almost like she wants her mommy to not let her transition so she has a reason to and feel sorry for herself.
So I truly believe the reason she targeted children was due to her resentment towards her mother.
How so?
She felt that her mother was selfish for not wanting to lose her daughter.
Yeah.
So she took every child that had the same mother mentality, putting them into Christian school, and put all their kids at risk.
So I still don't understand why she killed children.
It doesn't say explicitly in this. It doesn't.
If I couldn't transition as a child, you can't live as children either? Like, I don't understand.
It had to do.
Are you trying to punish, was she trying to punish mothers like her mother by killing their children?
Yes, that's what I believe. That's what I believe truly.
Yeah, she's definitely going to those pearly gays.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's burning. She's burning. So I believe that because of how she spoke of her mother, that's why. You ask why she was still living with her parents? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why. She stitched those dolls, and then she said, literally word for word in here, that she missed work. She missed the gym just to make the teddy bears have sex. And after missing work and the gym, she went to the mall, got stickers for her cars, and boots for a stuffed lion named Tommy. In this toy scenario, she very, very, very detailedly describes how she is the bear. The bear's name is Tony. She constructed him a piece, and they got out her girl doll named Ashley, who is Tony's lifelong best friend.
Okay.
Listen, if I had to go through it, you have to go through it.
All right.
And then she does say that obviously Tony is a boy in and out, Ashley's a girl in and out, two straight lovers who are in full natures of themselves by awareness. And then she says, I let Tony screw Ashley in the ass.
What is with the asses? Listen, if you want to, that's gay. You want to be a gay guy, okay? If you want to be a straight guy, well, in this world,
she wanted to do it with a chick, though.
That's not the way to go.
She wanted to do it with a chick,
that's
though.
That's a gay guy thing. Come on. What the hell? I'm telling you, man, these girls, not only are they severely demented, but they have like the kink for wanting to be a gay man. And there's some so f***ed up about that. Obviously, she was mentally deranged. And I do blame her freaking parents as well, because what were they doing?
Why didn't you burn these dolls?
Why didn't dude, put her a 5150 her ass, get her out of society. Fuck.
I let Tony F Ashley in the buttocks and stuffed his big penis in aggressively into her asshole. It took several attempts for Tony to put his dick into her vagina because he has a big dick. And was even bigger since he had an erection. Finally, he went in, and Ashley cried and moaned for a good 10 minutes. Tony, slow. And I don't even know what that word is. I'm so sorry.
Not only was she a terrible writer, but she writes like a 10-year-old boy. Sorry, a 13-year-old boy.
Tony, slow and gentle from vaginal sex.
What the who writes porn and says vaginal sex?
But then he speedily and hard on grunting with all his strength. This is a teddy bear.
Dude.
Then I let her suck his dick and touch his penis.
I'm telling you, porn is fucking kids up and adults.
After that, they wrapped each other in their arms and legs, sloth hugging and tree.
Oh, yeah, I love you so much after I aggressively whipped you in the ass.
After love, they made gracefully side by side.
Love? Hold up, that was making love?
I took pictures of their position.
What the? What in the God? I can't.
Hang on. Side by side, holding hands surrounded by the scattering of their clothes. I took pictures of their positions. My was hard for hours. Rock hard as a Flintstone.
Wait, as a Flintstone? Like a Flintstone vitamin? Or like the Flintstones?
In which they're a Flintstone.
They're cartoons. So what, like a Flintstone plushie? What are we talking about here?
Normally I would say it's probably referring to the actual stone, like a Flintstone, but it is capital F, so I'm going to go with the Flintstones vitamins. Hours making cloth pieces for my boy bears, only to realize I missed the gym because they closed at 7. I was mad already because I had no work that afternoon, walked around the mall, browsing at t-shirts at Spencer's, got some boots for Tommy, my stuffed lion.
Okay.
And then...
Wow.
So then she went to Spencer's, looked at t-shirts, got some boots for her stuffed lion, Tommy, purchased some stickers at Zumiez for her car, and got a stripper booty illustration with dad ass on it t-shirt.
And she wondered why she never had relationships. I'm not sorry, but if any girl was interested in her and saw the teddy bears, they're out. They're out. Like, she had no intention of being in a relationship with anybody because that right there would have scared anyone off. And she should have known that unless she didn't care because she was happy being miserable, which is that's what it seems like. She would have rather have lived in this weird teddy bear fantasy world, agonizing over a lover she'll never have. That was more addictive to her than actually getting what she wanted, which was the lover and the transition. That was work. This, what she was doing with teddy bears and That was a hobby for her. She didn't want to do the work. She wanted to feel bad and get off on her teddy bear. She's a weirdo.
That's why, like, the illustrations I was showing you, like, the work that she's done is even more concerning. God only knows what this chick was doing.
I hope she didn't have any animals.
She did. She had cats, but it doesn't seem like anything happened. She was mad that her dad gave her cat more attention than her. She had a whole paragraph about that. Yeah, she also had some interesting opinions politically. She was saying it's frowned down upon to be transgender or non-binary or to own guns, which number one is two politically different fields to be charging for. So it was conflicting and confusing. But she also did both.
Yeah, so cognitive dissonance is real.
And that's where the lack of clarity on the political alignment laid, is because she had those two opinions.
And this is why I'm okay with shame. I'm okay with shame and psychiatric hospitals.
She eventually comes down and says that this is my death day, this is the date, and then she has about 2 weeks where she consistently talks about that. She does call Paige infinite, which is where that desire, she wants to live in infamy, well, her lover is infinite, and she talks very often about God.
You know what? She doesn't know anything about this girl that she's in love with. The girl is just a freaking fantasy.
She also talks very much about liking the way that she looks like a child.
She doesn't mention anything about who this girl is as a person that she's in love with. It's all about how she looks.
No,
very racist.
We knew that they played basketball together and they went to school
what did she love
together.
about her aside from the fact that she was dark?
It didn't say much. It didn't say much, honestly.
Exactly. Because she had a fetish for dark women, apparently, or brown women, as she stated, and teddy bears.
I think her mom is why. Also, she went through this whole little blurb about her father towards the end. And this is what I think is a good synopsis on what it was like to be Audrey Hale. Mm-hmm. She said that she hated her father for being jobless and trying to motivate her. She called him but she then said, he isn't real, which is something that she talks about a lot. This isn't real, that isn't real, this is real, this is real. Her version of real and fake is what she cares about, what she wants in her life. She is constantly caught up in a fantasy and prefers living that fantasy. And if that's not what's happening, what she wants, then she wants to die. She wants to go to what she believes outside of this realm is better. She believes when she dies, she will get exactly what she wants every step of the way. She believes she'll have a boy's body. She believes she won't have to deal with her father anymore. She believes she will meet her unrequited love at the pearly gates, as well as her friend she lost. She lives in an insane level of delusion, yet calls her father delusional. She believes God is going to protect her from her Christian roots, and she's, from what I know, she's burning right now. For my conclusion of
The only
this,
time I wish hell is real.
is for people like this.
Yep.
Oh, I totally get it. I totally agree. So at the end of the day, a mentally troubled, reckless lesbian killed 2 9-year-olds, an 8-year-old, and 3 adults because she was mentally unwell and didn't like when people said no to her.
And the therapist was shit. She was narcissistic, incredibly vain, cared about nobody but herself. She didn't even care about the person she would claim to be in love with. She was
narcissist?
Yeah.
Yes. To the only extent that she cared about the person she was in love with was for looks and for feelings and for sexual gratification, which should tell you a lot. This is someone who was deeply, chronically online. This is someone who gave out warning signs, and we should have paid closer attention.
But that's what happens when you have gender-affirming therapy instead of actual therapy. Shit like this gets overlooked. Or isn't even exposed at all.
To every extent of my opinion, she was right about one thing. She was probably better off dead. And that's something she repeated over and over and over again in here. I don't think that's a proper thought for someone to get lost into. But if this is exactly if this is what happens, then she was probably better off never existing to begin with. Interesting fact I saw that I just wanted to share with you. Every news article I found referred to her as a woman, but her Wikipedia for the Nashville Shooter refers to them as a he.
Refers to her as a he? Mm-hmm. All you have to do is look at her picture and you can tell it's not a he.
There was the occasional mention of the gender dysphoria in here and gender euphoria when she was called he. But I don't think that was the problem this person had. I think the obsession was the problem. I think the narcissism was the problem. I think that the autism was probably the problem too. The obviously was a problem if you're autistic and you're addicted to porn. And I think that the ideology really ate away at this girl. Like the ideology of the gender ideology, the racist ideology, like the racism, what do they call it now?
Critical race theory?
Critical race theory. That really was eating up on her. And the fact that she was an incel. Mm-hmm. And she didn't feel comfortable expressing lesbian feelings, clearly hated lesbians, hated being gay. That's why she wanted to transition to be a man. But if maybe one person would have said, hey, it's actually beautiful to be a lesbian and there's no problem with it, maybe she would have turned out a little bit differently and not hated and wanted to kill everyone. I don't know.
And that's another of a multitude of reasons why these two lesbians right here are so violently against gender ideology.
It eliminates lesbians and it confuses people like this.
And it was created by pedophiles.
Yeah, and it confused the out of this girl. That's why she wanted to have a penis, because she felt being gay was wrong.
Because gender ideology makes actually no sense.
Yeah.
The whole ideology is all cognitive dissonance. It's all contradicting.
Yeah, and I
think it's meant to confuse you.
I hope that the families of the victims are doing well. I know that this has to be a very taxing thing, but this was a very mentally unwell person who took these lives. And I wouldn't call it a manifesto, just like Patch said. It's not really a manifesto.
Psychotic scribblings.
It's ramblings and drawings and repetitively saying, I want to die because I can't have you.
A narcissistic psychopath. Anyway, like and subscribe.
Let me know if you want more true crime deep dives in the comments below.